Welcome to Louisville in the USA, birthplace of Muhammad Ali, home of the old-fashioned cocktail, the Louisville Slugger baseball bats, Louisville Cardinals basketball team, go-karts, and of course Kentucky Fried Chicken, hence why I'm standing outside the KFC Yum Center. But the real reason we're here, of course, is to attend the RVIA show. That's the Recreational Vehicle Industry of America. They have an annual convention here at the Kentucky Convention and Expo Center, where there'll be plenty of motorhomes built on rather fine truck chassis like this one. But first, here's something that looks familiar to European tastes. Think Fiat Ducato, Peugeot Boxer, and Citroen Relay. But over here in North America, it's the Dodge Ram. And whereby in Europe we may have a 2.2 or a 2.3 litre engine, over here it's a whopping 3,500 with a fully automatic gearbox. Yeehaw! And here you can see a Dodge Ram underpinning a panel van conversion, or Type B motorhome as they're known here in the US. This is the Zion SRT by Canadian manufacturer Roadtrek. All very familiar to European eyes on the outside, you may be thinking, but on the inside there are some significant differences. Now, when I first saw the layout, I thought this was a walk-in wardrobe, but how wrong I was. I opened the door to reveal the washroom, and a very fine thing it is too, with a swivel loo on the left-hand side and a vanity unit sink on the right. And the configuration at the rear of the van is interesting too. You have a midships kitchen with a fridge on one side and a transverse mounted sofa which converts into a bed. All very clever stuff. But Roadtrek doesn't just convert on the Dodge Ram. As you can see, it also utilizes the Mercedes Sprinter, which is a very popular vehicle in North American motorhome conversions, especially the Type Bs. But this is not the only German offering at the show by any means. Now here's a name we're very familiar with in Europe. Yes, it's Hymer, and they are now in North America. Earlier in the year they acquired Roadtrek, so now they have a ready-made entree into this particular market. And as you can see, this kind of vehicle is something we're very familiar with in Europe. But over here it is German designed, German engineered, and now available in America. So let's see what's inside this particular example. So as you can see, it looks quite familiar to the European observer. A kitchen on the side here, a dinette at the front, moving backwards, the washroom on the side, and the transverse bed here that packs up out of the way to offer a route right through the vehicle. The fit and finish looks very good too, with that attention to detail that Hymer is famous for, right down to the stitching in the head supports on the seats. Roadtrek also converts on the Chevrolet Express, and its 210 popular model is certainly on the money. A comfortable rear lounge, well-appointed midships kitchen, and up front you get all the goodness of the Chevrolet base vehicle. But given Roadtrek's tie-up with Hymer, it asks an interesting question. How about a Hymer badge version of this particular Roadtrek coming to continental Europe? But you don't have to have a motorhome riding on a light commercial vehicle. How about getting something like a truck? Now, Freightliner does a specially altered version of one of its truck chassis specifically for the RV market. It has a modified fuel tank and suspension, and in case you're wondering about the engine, 6 litres and 360 horsepower. So what kind of motorhome would be built on one of these? And here we can see the Freightliner underpinning the Jayco Seneca, a Type C motorhome that's got some very interesting things going on the inside. Now we know an overcab motorhome has a certain amount of space, but when's the last time you saw one that has as much as this? And it's all courtesy of this massive slide out section here that opens up this enormous lounge. But there are a couple of other details that are interesting too. Don't just make do with a small fridge. In this particular vehicle you have a double fronted one. Fantastic for when you're spending a long time off-road, wherever you may end up in a campground or something like that. Now the American buyer takes entertainment very seriously. There are 2 sets inside and here one on the outside. Fantastic when you're spending so much time in and around a vehicle just like this. But these sets on the outside are fantastic because the whole family can gather around, watch some sports events or that kind of thing. Just that whole thing of being together. So have you ever wondered what kind of chassis underpins one of those enormous Type A motorhomes? Well, how about this? This is what actually goes underneath the Integra Insignia motorhome, and very impressive it is too. A 12-litre engine, 450 horsepower and a 100-gallon fuel tank. Very impressive in anyone's book. But they don't just go all about the grunt. There's some great refinement to the design too. Check out the accessibility of this service area so you can get to everything you need as quickly as possible. So what does the actual built-out version of this chassis actually look like? Now that Spartan chassis underpins the Integra Insignia, itself an entry-level motorhome from premium brand Integra. For $350,000 though, you do get a lot for your money, including those slide-outs and other innovations to make there all the creature comforts, so you've got them on the road. But don't worry, your investment is also protected security-wise, thanks to a very clever keyless entry system here, which uses different combinations on the keypad to open different sections of the vehicle. And how clever is that? Now here in Winnebago country, they take their music very seriously, so any minute now a song is going to try and drown me out, so I'll try to be quick. There's been a little bit of disruption in the US base vehicle market for motorhomes now that Ford has joined the fray, but the choice is there. You can have Ford, Mercedes, Dodge and more, so it gives converters a great bit of stuff to get stuck into. And obviously with the Ford you get the benefit of the more powerful engines, 3.7 litre with very good fuel economy, and the automatic transmission that we're going to be getting in Europe at some stage soon. So you can see why so many converters are starting to adopt the 8th generation Transit as a base vehicle for motorhomes. Now it's good to see the Ford Transit penetrating into some other vehicle classifications as well, because alongside the van conversions that we've just seen, how about this? Yes, a Type C motorhome with a brand new Ford Transit underneath it, and in this particular case, the Coachmen Orion. Now this development with the Ford Transit is super exciting for us European buyers. Why? Because we've got the automatic transmission that we're due to be getting at some stage soon. And speaking of the layout, that's very continentally influenced as well. Check out the dinette here in the midships, and at the back, nothing less than a French bed and corner washroom. And how about this for another Ford Transit van conversion, or as they say in the States, a Type B motorhome. This is the CrossFit from Coachmen that literally launched on the first day of the show and has caused a bit of a sensation already. You can see why. It's a very clever vehicle, and immaculate underpinnings from that Ford Transit with a 3.7 litre engine and that automatic transmission once again. So what's actually going on inside? Let's have a quick look. Now once again we are encountering what we thought originally to be a walk-in wardrobe, but it is in fact the washroom. Open the door here for a fantastic view and access to the throne room. How good is that? On this side we have a very large kitchen with all the things that you would expect for busy cooks. Some of them supplied by names familiar to us in Europe, Truma and Dometic. At the back of the van you have the sleeping quarters in this particular two-berth. Parallel lounge seating that make up into a large double. And you can basically put your cocktail tables in the gangway when it's not being used, so perfect for sundowners. And for $99,000, I think this van is right on the money. Now the sheer size of some of the vehicles out here is quite breathtaking, and it's particularly hard for us in Europe to get our heads around this particular kind of vehicle. Just look at the conversion of the motorhome living quarters on the back of this flatbed pickup truck. Absolutely amazing inside and very well appointed. And what kind of base vehicle do you need to drag it all along? Well, how about a Ford F350 with a 6.7 litre engine? That should definitely do the trick. Now it would be remiss of us coming all the way to Louisville and not doing something on one of the biggest Winnebagos in the show. And how about this in the Journey range? A brand new model, the 40J, has a full-length slide out along the side of the vehicle that's so impressive it's had to have modifications to the superstructure just to accommodate it. So what does it give you? We find out that there's going to be a rather large master suite inside, so let's take a quick look. And what a master suite it is. As you can see, this is a proper island bed and a slide out section, so there is absolutely masses of room. And check out the entertainment system over here at the foot of the bed. But that's not all, because if you look at the other end of the vehicle, it's just as impressive. And what an amazing living space it is. Just look at the way that the kitchen unit comes in from the side of the vehicle with the slide out when it's retracted and comes in beautifully over that worktop. That's a fantastic piece of engineering by anyone's standards. Over here, perfect place for a romantic couple to have dinner together, and meanwhile at the front of the vehicle, this absolutely massive lounge and those captain's chairs that rotate so you can bring even more guests into the party. And if you're wondering what kind of engine you need for all this, then something about 450 horsepower should do the trick. Sadly, we've reached the end of our journey in Louisville this time around, and how apt that we've been able to do it in this fine Winnebago. This show is an amazing place to come to look at all the new innovations, design hacks, and the things that the Americans do so well, especially building big old buses just like this one and other things across the market. And the fact that the new base vehicle coming in with the Ford Transit is very exciting indeed.